Papaya, it's done. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Natives in America podcast, and you're listening to Benjamin Juan, your host, and my co-host, is Sky Anto. He's here with us, right?
What's up?
There.
I'm here.
He's here.
I got here.
We got him. He showed up. Oh, God, everybody. It's going to work out.
Indian time.
Yeah, every time, right? We're like, hey, let's do 9 o'clock. And then it's like, okay, how about 9:30? It's like, you know what? We better do 10 because I'm not ready. I was like, okay. And then we talk for like a half hour, 40 minutes. And it's now 10:38, and we're kicking it off now. So, welcome back, people. This is pretty exciting. Like I'm really proud that we made it this far. This is season 3 now. We're kicking off season 3.
Season 3.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
White.
There you go. Okay, so season white. So, all right. I'm going to sound real stupid. There's a word for season. I might have just put us on the spot here in a bad way. We're going to have to wait for Sissy and Amy to come on and teach us that right there. All right, people.
Kind of like a time frame.
So far, season 3, people, if you're listening, I want guests on as much as possible. Like, I really do enjoy me and Sky's banter back and forth, but the guest spot, there's a big butt in there. The guest spots seem to do way better, and I think we get a little more in depth, a little more feely, I guess. No,
what?
I take it back as soon as I put it out there.
There's a lot we can learn from new people that we haven't talked to on the podcast, and like you said, they tend to do a lot better. So, but either way, we're here, and
you're damn right we're
here.
We
want you to come and talk with us. So
yeah, we want guests.
Comment or hit us up if you know me or Ben, or if you don't. Or even if you know somebody you would like to suggest.
Yeah, I'm open to that, for sure.
Run it by us, because we're trying to bring more guests on. And,
absolutely. I'm really curious what people want to hear, and at the same time, like, I'm sure just our title alone, the Natives in America podcast, I'm sure there are natives out there expecting us to have natives on, or people. I always say people of interest that we'd be interested in hearing, and it doesn't necessarily mean all natives. I just like talking about damn near everything, and if at any point I can get some science going on, or something. Yeah. I love science, and I love like way out there wackadoo kind of information.
Oh yeah,
mind blowing, mind bending kind of stuff, which I think we're kind of talking about tonight.
I think everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious where you're going with that, Sky. Before we do, if I haven't already said it, we kind of scratched on the surface of guests. We've got CJ coming on. We have her coming back, Sandra Jose. And we have the very well-known, like we just did really successfully with Steve Danlow out there. He's probably listening. Thanks again, brother. Your episode is killing it, and I really enjoy making it. We got another teacher coming on. The name you'll know, Mr. Hardy. He'll be coming on. We got him locked in. It's taken a while, a lot of back and forth talk, like making plans, discussing ideas, and we've got him locked in. He's coming on. So it's just a matter of time, people. We're trying to kick off season 3 and start it off strong. How's that sound?
Yeah.
How about that?
Sounds all good, man. Sounds like a plan.
Good. Thank you, Sky. Okay. Okay. So why don't are you prepared at this point, Sky, to kick off what we're doing here, or should I just keep rambling on and just blowing smoke and turning mirrors?
Well, I can take the wheel from here.
Take the wheel.
Where do I start? It was
Are you sure you can take the wheel, brother?
It was a cold night.
Ooh.
It's been cold.
It's cold now, man.
And that's what I'm saying. It's been cold. And there's been a lot of weird things that I've been seeing out.
Yeah.
And and I know we do talk a lot, and I think we even mentioned it in the previous episode about how we kind of have this obsession with aliens, and we talk about it, but yet we just never talked about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird, but then it also kind of matches
what we keep doing.
No, it matches that, but then I think it's sort of I don't know if that's how aliens get portrayed, and maybe that's what they wanted, like to kind of create this. I almost think of it like Elvis, like, you know, people still think Elvis is dead, and there's some people that think he's still alive, and then there's all these impersonators of him, and his spirit kind of lives on, but there's kind of people that still think he's still alive. Dude, it's just, I'm just saying, people created aliens to kind of follow along those theories.
Mm-hmm. You got me thinking about that saying about the devil. That the devil's greatest trick is convincing us that they don't exist, that he doesn't exist.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to...
All right, yeah, okay. So what I'm saying is it just kind of fits this, like, when we're almost not ready to talk about it, or we're almost not sure we should talk about it, but I think... Nicely put. I think for this episode we're kind of itching, kind of wanting to talk about it, but we're not ready to talk about it. That's gonna be to come. Yeah,
I think
to come.
I think what you're putting out there is that season 3 seems to me to be the perfect time to finally nail that down and do an aliens episode.
Yeah.
And what we can do here is warm people up to the idea, because there's a whole bunch of like media. We got a list of movies here that we're going to kind of dab on, and I think if we just discuss what we've been seeing in like YouTube, like here we are on YouTube, there's a ton of videos that I see, and I think we should talk about the hints, you know, like a couple of theories, and then when we come back on and do an aliens episode, like I went through just to double check and make sure in the past 2 seasons we don't have an aliens episode, and we don't. But I swear to God, there's probably a little bit of mention in damn near every other episode where aliens somehow come up.
Yeah.
And like you said, like that's kind of the status quo.
Well, you remember that one episode where I was starting to tell a story, and then you kind of like, hey, we're ready to kind of like, we didn't really go further into it. You remember that one?
Are you saying I shut you down? Is that what you're saying? I do that all the time.
Well, I think we threw in the towel, and I just, for shit, so I just, hey, I'll tell this story, and then you were like, hey, we already shut it down, we already
Oh yeah.
You were like ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I was ready to press the big red button to turn this shit off, and you're like starting a brand new story. Okay, yes.
That is kind of strange, though. I mean, now that I'm saying it, because I was like,
yeah.
well, it wasn't the alien episode. But
maybe that was an alien influence that kept us from just spilling the beans.
I don't know. I don't
know.
You don't even know what came over you when you said that.
It wasn't even my words, bro. They were channeling through me to stop you.
Control.
You were about to bust this thing wide open, and aliens made me say, no, Sky, the episode's over. Stop it.
Well, so I guess, what do you think makes a good alien film?
Ooh, nice lead up, man. Good job. I think mystery. I think we're already kind of touching on that. I think mystery makes for good aliens. The unknown. And I think that's why so much stuff gets pinned on aliens. It's like, oh, there's no way. Like I watch Ancient Aliens. I always bring this up, but like, they're always covering structures and stuff. It's like, oh, it's impossible that we could have made this. Oh, well, it must have been aliens. You know, like it must be that, because we couldn't do this. Even with modern machines, we couldn't do this, or it would be very difficult to do. So,
yeah,
I think aliens are like a scapegoat for mystery.
Even like the Stonehenges, like was it the Stonehenges?
Mm-hmm. Stonehenge.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know. I just remember it in this art class where they're actually showing like how people could have made those sculptures, but like up until then, I always believed, aliens did that.
Oh yeah.
But that's kind of freaky how, like, the concept of aliens, like how we're saying, like, you know, by not seeing them, that's more exciting about the mystery. I mean, the mystery of them is the good part of the film, but yet already it's this thing where it's not being unidentified, you know, you don't know what it looks like. So even within film, you still have that sort of, it's kind of freaky.
Well, what's freaky is we're in a modern time, or at least we think of it as modern time, and I think it was 2019 when the government finally said, okay, there might be aliens. You know what I mean? Like it took that long, and they're like, all right, let's throw the people a bone and go, okay, this is what we've seen, and they started releasing all their videos. Unidentified, or I think they even changed the name to like flying sky phenomenon or something like that, like something ridiculous. They're like, we're not going to call it UFOs anymore. If we're going to admit anything, we're going to change the name. Ridiculous.
It was like 2 decades late, you know?
Yeah. You know, my big fascination here is I'm always watching this channel called, on YouTube, the Impossible Channel. And all he does is he takes, collates, puts them together. He collects videos that are unexplainable or quote-unquote impossible, and he slaps them together, and then he kind of voiceovers, what do you think this is? And then he's like, he'll do a little intro, and then he goes, and then this happens. You know, he kicks out the video, and then he says, and then this happens, and then afterwards he's like, what do you think? And I'm kind of wondering if our whole like the media is being flooded with imagery, and I think the world over we're all getting more and more access to the internet, more and more access to cameras, and we're starting, like, I think all along we've been having these experiences and sightings, but only lately we're flooding the mainstream with imagery of it, because now everybody's got cameras, you know, everybody's got the internet, and I feel like it's been happening all along, but here we are. We're all capturing it now and exposing it, but it's been happening all along.
Yeah. Well, it made me think of two things. We're able to capture it because all our devices have cameras and film to. I mean, not film, but
not film.
Like everything's being recorded somewhere. So if they're out there, then somewhere they're gonna get sighted. At least, maybe not. I don't know. But then you got me thinking of us just being controlled to the screen and kind of letting the guard down, and things are just sort of walking around you, flying around you. I mean, it's funny now that we've made that clear that we've mentioned aliens in all the episodes. Like, I remember we were like, I just started to think of all the times we did mention them.
Yeah.
But
we were thinking about them.
Yeah, they're just kind of they're part of the show, at least in my world, that I like with aliens in film, I'm kind of like, I don't know whether to, like, I think of like Paul or like Men in Black, where the aliens are comical.
Yeah.
And then, where we don't know them and we're afraid of them.
Yeah. As a kid, my earliest exposure to the idea of aliens was Fire in the Sky. And to this day, I still haven't seen it completely as an adult. I think I started watching it, and just there's a scene where the dude's abducted, and they're showing him he's surrounded. There's lights on him in his eyes. They're shining in his eyes, and then they just lay this a thin film of goop over him, and then they just kind of start prying his mouth open with all these mechanical devices, and they're drilling into his eyes, and it's he's choking on this it looks like jam/intestines stuff that they put in his mouth, and he's like, clap, 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 and he's like, his eyes are all held open, and it's this very traumatic, horrible stuff.
Yeah.
The total opposite end of Paul and, Men in Black, Mars Attacks, and because of that, I think I've slightly had this continuous fear of abduction, even though I'm not even afraid of it's not there's a possibility I'm going to be abducted. No, I don't think that way. But in the back of my mind, there's this imagery created by movies and media that there's a fear, I think it was called Of the Fourth Kind.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, but that they have actual recordings, quote unquote, and the stuff they record is crazy.
Well, I was going to say that wasn't on the list.
No, it's not, but I just added it, my man.
No, but I'm saying that movie was so realistic that men's health ain't messing with that. Because that was kind of controversial. Not controversial, but it was, man, it was almost like a documentary. Those. Well,
it kind of was.
Reenactment. Yeah. The reenactment shit, when someone's telling if you see those documentaries where someone did something dumb and they have an actor redo it, but it's the real person talking, saying what they did.
Yeah.
It was almost like that.
Yeah, it was.
But more of a dramatic feel, but yet it was real.
Yeah.
And then even the lady saying, no one believes. There's some people that don't believe me, and I'm the crazy one.
Yeah, but even though it like happened to an entire town or something, like the entire town reported losing time. Like that's another part of the whole alien abduction, alien experience is you lose time. You know, you're here in one moment and then you just kind of come to, and you vaguely remember the past half hour or something, like, and your butt ass naked out in the field. You know, like it's a common, I guess, indicator that people bring up. And here, I'll say this. The fact that everybody's filming these things, the fact that everybody who's ever had these alien abductions share certain qualities about their experience, that you can't discredit that, but people every single day discredit stuff like that. Like we
yeah.
I don't want to go Matrix-y on this, but I want to go like there's a mob mentality to try and just exist. Like, oh, that's too heavy. I don't even want to talk about that. It can't be real, and even if it is real, it's going to take away too much of my regular day. So I better just go to work. I better go to sleep. I better kiss my wife goodnight and then go to sleep. Get up and go to my 9-to-5 job and take care of my kids and then bitch at the TV. You know, I don't got time to do aliens.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of, again, like the whole saying about the devil is like the greatest trick was convincing people he didn't exist.
Ooh.
And again, I'm not saying aliens are devils, or maybe I am. I'm saying we're so complacent that the idea, or like just looking up in the sky and going, oh, there's more than our little lives here on planet Earth. You want to look up and go, oh, now I got to consider these omnipotent, you know, supreme beings and add them to the equation. I don't got time for that. How about that?
Damn. That, well, part of me saying ignorance is bliss. The other part of me is kind of like the way you kind of said it, where I don't got time for that. It's almost like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You know, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, go out and just say, come at me?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was thinking of, well, the Independence Day, but the aliens are kind of were the enemy, or at least.
Well, they're here to destroy us.
Well, but they portrayed it as like, I mean, that's some bullshit where they kind of Independence Day and America.
Yeah, he's all choking that guy with his tentacles. He's like, what are we supposed to do? I want you to die. Die. You know,
So you're worried about the abduction versus them just coming and doing some stuff up here? Like.
I'll rewind it right now and say I'm not worried about abduction. If it were to happen, I'd be freaking terrified because there's a fear planted in my brain. They planted it. They planted fear in my brain. Okay. What I'm saying is no. In my daily life, maybe I don't have time for it, but I'm saying I don't have like this. I'm not like looking over my shoulders waiting to be abducted. So no, I don't have the fear of that, but there is some imagery that will never leave my brain because I saw it as a kid, fire in the sky. So I got a theory, and I just want to lay it out there. I love theories. I develop theories all day long. I'm gonna bring up Prometheus. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, but I'm gonna bring up the idea that they kick off the movie of like this chosen one being dropped off on Earth. He drinks this like crazy deconstructing, reconstructing, DNA melting juice, and then I think they're implying that they seeded Earth with their own DNA, and it developed with the environment here to create all life on Earth, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, say that's the case. I suspect now, after seeing all these videos and images, like all this Impossible Channel stuff, all this it's out there. It's all out there. And I just kind of scratched the surface on the X-Files. The truth is out there. I'm starting to suspect that they've been here all along, and we just can't see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got ideas of cloaking devices on Star Trek. You know, the birds of prey that are just completely invisible. They're right in front of you. You can't see them. I liked on War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, where they're saying, or what movie was that? It might have been Signs did it too, but I think War of the Worlds did it too, where like a bird was flying through the sky and then it hits something that's not there, and then it falls to the earth and its skull is fractured.
Like a spear or something.
Yeah, and then there's all these images of like colors lighting up the entire sky, and it's happening all over the planet. That's the craziest thing for me, is it's happening all over the planet. Now, we have theories about what that might be. There's plenty of scientists going, oh, it's this, and then there's a bunch of know-it-alls going, no, it's this, but nobody's really fully nailed it down. And I suspect that the only thing that could create that much light is some kind of all-powerful machine/device/UFO. Like they're up there all the time, and we can't see them, but every now and then they're like, you know, let's let off some steam, and it turns purple. The sky's going blue. I've seen blues, purples, reds, oranges. There's all these videos. Check out the Impossible Channel for that. Like there's tons of footage all over the planet of these lights that are unexplainable.
Yeah.
I even heard them call it. I've heard it said, and I've got another theory on this, that like earthquakes. They say certain earthquakes can produce light. Mm-hmm. Or like the fracture, you know, on our tectonic plates, they'll rub and they'll produce light. I think they call it, I don't want to say it was a skyquakes or something along those lines, but there's a term for it. I can't even think about it. But they're saying, oh, this earthquake is about to occur, or it happened and it produced light. But what I've also been seeing is freaking people saying the light came before the earthquake, almost like it was created.
Ooh.
There's a light reaction, and then hours later or a short time after that, boom, an earthquake hits. So going back to the whole Prometheus and seeding the planet, I'm starting to believe that the planet has been seeded. It wasn't all just chance, but there was a little bit of design going on in our DNA. Mm-hmm. And that they're here constantly monitoring their investment. You know, creating another planet that's been seeded to join this like galactic network. And then I'm going to go a step further and say that I kind of suspect that when we die, we're finally released from our husk and become like a pure energy being, and then we start experiencing that other world. We join the collective.
Oh.
How crazy does that sound? A little insane, maybe?
A little far, but then it kind of... I mean, like, the energy, like we talk about energy and it not going anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't get destroyed. There. It just moves on.
Yeah. You know, during this time, you know, like even like with the salt, you know, when you spill the salt, you know, that the whole reason why they say that, like, you know, when they spill the salt, they say throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah.
They say that because they said it was a ghost or like a spirit in the area. That's why it fell. That's why you're throwing the salt to kind of just sort of just cleanse yourself. Yeah. But like, maybe if it's just a teal thing or native thing, or I don't know if it's just our connection to our ones that passed on. Even though when they're not here, they're still kind of here.
Yeah.
And we don't make jokes about it, but there's some humor and stuff where like the door just opens.
Yeah.
And or something falls, and it's just sort of like, hey, the so-and-so's running around, or
yeah.
Or someone might joke and say, come in, just so I can't say that that's not wrong or you're full of shit, man. I kind of believe to some degree what you said, like the way you explained it. It makes kind of sense, but I don't know if that's what really goes down.
Mm-hmm.
There's something to that degree of where you're someplace else, but still
here.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So you just opened the floodgate here, my man. I want to bring up ghosts now. And at the same time, I'm still kind of talking aliens here. So follow me here. Follow me into the freaking rabbit hole.
I want you.
Interdimensionality. Would you suspect that beings... I mean, do you believe in the concept of multiverses? And and there's multiple dimensions that we can't even detect. So we're all the way up to 3D, and we might kind of experience 4D, which I don't even, I couldn't even explain. Like, if you got your laptop, open that up, and when I'm done doing my little rant here, I want you to bring up the fourth dimension. But I hear there's, unlimited multiple dimensions, and when we talk about ghosts, there's kind of like this... Well, all right, let me go back to aliens real quick. Aliens, if they're on this super omnipotent level and they're somehow going from here to all these super distant planets that I keep saying, bringing up... Whenever I bring up aliens, I go... Or other planets with life, I go, they're so fucking far away, we'll never get there in a lifetime. All right, so I mentioned that several times before.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even tell you which episodes we were talking about, but we were in. But I kind of believe that to be able to slip in and out of dimensions would make it possible to appear right here and then instantly on another planet. All right, you still kind of with me on this? All right, so I kind of wonder, and I'm going to bring up movies again. I'm going to bring up The Others. I think it was, what's her beautiful name? Nicole Kidman. The movie with her, The Others, and it's like they're living their weird life in this giant mansion, and they keep getting like nudged or messed with by what they perceive as ghosts. And then it turns out they're the ghosts. Like, they're existing in the same house at the same time, and both people believe that they're in the current time and that it's their house. So she keeps going, why the hell they keep closing the curtains? Or why the curtain's always open, and the people who are living on the other side of that coin, and they're still in the same room, same place, maybe not the same time or dimension, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
They're opening the windows. Like, why the hell do these windows keep getting closed? So, and I kind of feel like that's kind of the whole thing with poltergeists, there's somebody who hasn't moved on. They're still existing in what they believe is their house.
Yeah.
But then somebody else is in there decorating it like shit. Maybe they think it looks like shit, so they're like, I'm going to rip this painting off the wall. Or knock this weird candle off my table, because I don't want that shit in this house. It's my house. I don't want you in my house. So, like, a lot of times, there's this conflict between these people and quote-unquote ghosts, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not even calling the others a ghost movie, or an alien movie, but it kind of makes me think about that level, that we're here on the same plane, that sometimes when, like, and I said, I feel like our bodies keep us here. We've got this quote-unquote soul, right? Like there's, I think I brought this up before, when we die, our body loses a tiniest amount of weight.
Yeah.
And if you were to weigh an atom, it'd be this fraction of a fraction of a fraction weight. So when they say our body loses this weight, I think it's this amount of energy that leaves the body. And I'm willing to call that a soul. All right? Because like we said, the rules that we have that govern our societies right now, there's no loss of energy. It doesn't get destroyed. It just goes somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, when somebody dies and they don't join the collective, like I said, they don't, suddenly go up and they become privy to all this information and this world that's created by aliens, or let's just say supreme beings or whatever. If they don't leave Earth, they stay here on a different plane. They're no longer held by their body, so we can't reach out and touch them, but their energy is there. And like a lot of these ghost hunting shows, if you really listen to them, they say when there's a ghost thing going on, they're leaving an imprint. And I'm kind of saying it's that energy. There's an imprint left, and the people who start experiencing stuff with ghosts, they're kind of conflicting with this energy that's left behind.
Yeah.
I've gone totally deep.
I can agree with that.
Okay.
Two things.
Okay.
I don't know how this is related, and it is related. There's the parallels, but I don't know how you want to tie them. But I think when you're talking about death and passing on and kind of not transferring, but being able to be in a different realm, sort of, and I think that's our obsession with time travel, where we want to sort of can we go back and redo it, or can we still be able to live in the time where like that we're still in our skeleton. But there was the famous Roswell sighting of the alien landing or the alien crashing, UFO being identified in the Roswell. I've heard a rumor or another theory of that being people actually time traveling.
Huh. Okay.
I can go there. It's not parallel, but another thing I wanted to say is, and again, it's not directly tied, but I know it can make sense to what you're saying, is in African culture, they have like the real world, and there's like the spiritual world. Yeah. Where there's these things, and not things, but just other. I don't want to give out the wrong information, but like that, like spirits, and even like if an elder passes, and then a newborn comes into the world, they kind of give them that name because it's almost like, you're holding up that person. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what's believed. And then another thing too, what I saw was KRS-One. He's a rapper MC. He's pretty prolific, and he was talking about losing people special in your life, or like mentors, or just powerful people that have like relatives that pass in your life. It's like sometimes when they go, that's kind of like something big is happening for you.
Yeah.
That is experiencing that, because you're gonna need that help on that dimension. So they're almost going to that world to help you in the bigger, I guess I don't know if we want to describe it as the bigger universe. Because we talk about us being on the earth and existing on earth and being alive on earth, but then there's this galaxy or universe where there's other stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
And even within the earth, there's different levels to existing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got it. So I got two things about what you just said. First of all, when you mentioned the Africans having this other plane, the spiritual plane that they mentioned,
mm-hmm.
It's not just them. It comes up in a lot of older cultures, or cultures all over the world. And I want to say, because this is Natives in America podcast, that I believe it's the Navajo. I'm not. I believe it's the Navajo. Like I think of the sand paintings, the spiritual act of creating a sand painting. I believe they too have a spiritual level, a spiritual plane.
Mm-hmm.
Like where our ancestors just kind of hang out. They're there and they're available to us, and they're still here at the same time. Yeah, watching over, providing, helping, guiding.
Yeah.
And they're on this other level, this other plane, this spiritual place. And I'm trying to think of our tribe, the Tonawatim. I believe we have the same thing, but I can't think of a name for it. Where we've actually, like a certain story I've heard from like Danny Lopez, where we directly mention that. But I kind of feel like we do talk about, our ancestors giving us strength and leading us, guiding us, and helping us along.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is it's not just in Africa, it's across the planet. And if it's that widely available, not available, believed, I kind of feel like it becomes undeniable. At some point, doesn't it just become undeniable? Like, again, when we're talking the big picture here, people go, I don't have time for that. Like we were saying that. I don't have time for this bigger picture. I'm just living my life. And I'm thinking, like, that's another one of those things we just kind of shirk off. Like, it's not, we shrug it off. It's like we have no time to think spirituality, or at least not everybody. There are some people that's their life and they're always there. But I'm saying, again, like, it's so universal across the planet. How could it not be,
Well, I think there's, like, everybody has their interpretation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. And their own names for it.
And they're all different.
Yeah.
But yet, they're kind of...
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're all the same, because that kind of waters it down of what individually they stand for. But, like, we're talking about another place where there's other beings that are not living, that are possibly among us.
Yeah.
And like I said, like, we're respectful to our dead. We feed our dead. So, like, they are.
Well, there you go. There you go. You just nailed it. That's it. All souls. That's an acceptance that they're not gone. We just can't see them. We can't always access them, but they're here, and we're honoring them. That's it. That's what it was. I didn't even nail that down in my mind. Yes. Now, part 2 here. You mentioned time travel and the crash in Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
I too heard it as a theory, and it made sense. Like, you know how I'm always talking about. All right, I already brought it up earlier. Was the length of travel we'd have to go to reach other planets, right?
Yeah.
To reach the stars. I kind of sometimes wonder if, like, time's already been spent and we're here now in this point, but true time travel might actually be that we left the planet or that we're going to leave the planet, and sooner or later one of us or a group of us will be successful in traversing the universe, like getting out there, going to Mars. It's going to happen. I believe people are going to go to Mars. I don't think it's a matter of when or if, but when. It's going to happen. And yes, I already made my theory. The first people are going to die. But sooner or later, we have enough smart people that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's not if, it's just when. And say in our future, and again, we could be talking interdimension here. Maybe we've already made it, you know? Like, we're here now, and but say we've already made it. Say it's already happened. Say it's already been on multiple planets. Now, if you think about, okay, we successfully pulled that off, and then say we want to shoot, and say by that time we have so much knowledge based on time on space travel. Now, what's cool about a lot of theories, and everybody, I think it's kind of ridiculous that anytime anybody does like this, like montage of crazy mind-blowing stuff, they throw in E equals MC squared. You know, the theory of relativity.
Mm-hmm.
Time and space are kind of hand in hand. And energy. Like, the big E is energy. Then there's mass and there's speed. So speed is c squared. That's like it's like the theoretical number for the speed of light, the fastest you could ever travel. And then mass is like what you're made up of, equal to energy. And it's all relative. They're all related, which is why it's called the relativity theory. But what I'm saying is, say, after all the time we spent landing on these planets in another time or in our future, they've learned enough about travel that they can actually make that travel without dying in a lifetime. They make it from our universe to another one, or the nearest star, you know. And say they made it. What do you think is going to happen to them? Because when our people just go up into orbit, you know, they go to the International Space Station. If they stay there too long, they come back and their bones disintegrate. You know, their muscle mass drops. They become weaker, and they become, you know, their mind stays the same. Well, maybe not. Maybe they deteriorate a little bit, but like their body starts reacting to weightlessness.
Damn.
Now, if we're doing this super distant travel, what do you think's happening to our bodies? Like say it took 25,000 years to travel, like light years that we're always talking about, the distances. Say we made it, and say we enter a black hole. Like, we're out there, we enter a black hole, and say it brings us back here. What do you think we're going to look like? Our brains will continue to be exercised, so maybe they'll become enlarged, and then our bodies are going to slowly disintegrate from time travel. But say we figured out a way to suppress the damage that space travel does.
Yeah.
Maybe our bodies become small and gray, or lanky and tall and skinny, but our brains and eyes you know, say we're traveling through space and there's no light out there. There's only the light from stars. What do you think's going to happen to our eyes? They're going to become super huge to collect the very tiny amounts of light energy that's out there so we can process stuff. What if these aliens are us? Like, I've seen that theory. I've heard it. I've watched, you know, make-up videos of that where there was a fake alien interview, and he's like, "Hey, I'm you. I'm your next evolution. We made it. You know, we traveled, and now this is what we look like. This is what's left of us after we successfully did what we've been trying to do forever." What do you think about that?
It's scary. Very scary.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like, it's almost like we're not realizing the end result.
Yeah.
We're more focused on getting there, doing whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless of the results, it's like, we made it here. God damn it. And maybe, I don't know. I mean, you're talking about like the body going, but yet the brain and whatever else still maybe being on a mobile like cart or something, and just sort of. But then is the expedition even worth it if you can't enjoy it in what we call our bodies now? Because it's like, by the time we get there, we're like all aged, and we can't even bust a move, you know? we pretty much donate our brain to a remote control car. That doesn't really seem that rewarding.
All right, there's another great concept. I got a little what if.
Mm-hmm.
What if, say that theory's true. The time traveling alien is us. We successfully pulled this crap off. Here's a what if. What if that's why they're so interested in Earth? We care so much about where we began.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've already done it. They made it, and they want us to continue so they can continue to exist.
Ooh, what if...
their future is tied into our future.
I was going to say, like, what if, like, human species are we're the only species that have figured out how to live the longest. Out of all these planets that are around us and whatever they're doing, like, the lifespan is really short.
Mm.
And, you know, we're just the one that figure out how to live a little longer.
Yeah.
So we're the ones that can actually do best in time travel because of the wear and tear of the body.
Yeah.
They didn't do that shit in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine, like, all the time?
Exposure to radiation.
We should break down how many times they go back. I mean, I know they do it, but, like, they go there, they come back. Well, depending on which one, they do jump around, but, like,
yeah,
that would be a twist where it's like suddenly Marty just dies, you know, she's just like, my body can't take anymore.
I can't travel anymore. Please, kill me.
I'm just gonna stay here, you know, fuck it.
Fuck it. I go one more time, I'm gonna have ass cancer. Yeah. Damn it, I had something. So again, back to where you mentioned the time travel, you also mentioned the skeleton. And that was a point that I was trying to get to, and I don't think I even hit it, was I said we leave our husk.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, we're right now, according to the rules, according to our science, we are energy. We're a bunch of atoms that form together to produce, skin, nails, cells, all that. And my theory about the soul and all that is that until this short-term lived body ends, we can't be released to do the next thing. Now, when you were talking about living the longest, that was something I wanted to bring up was whenever scientists, like the ones that are looking for other planets, what they tend to look for is something that they kind of describe as the green zone. And what it is it was kind of that a little fuzzy zone of safe and protective and life supporting. So we're a perfect distance from the sun. We have the perfect distance from a moon that creates our seasons, We have an Earth that's spinning at the perfect rotation. And it's probably not perfect, but it's slow, it's fast enough and slow enough to keep us warm with the sunlight. We cool down in certain seasons, but it's like we're in this green zone, this fuzzy, lovey, life-supporting green zone. And, all these other planets out there, they don't have that. They're longer distances away. Or maybe in another universe, they have multiple sunlight systems. So let's say there's life on every planet right now. They don't have the life-supporting green fuzzy zone.
Yeah.
But let's say they're alive and existing, like maybe as cells, and say we would have been cells still if we didn't have this perfect planet that allowed us to progress from cells to the next thing. So say there is life out there, but say it's all cellular. If we were to get there and suddenly make it warmer or fuzzier, then they would progress and become a longer living being. So when you were saying, maybe we're the longest living, yeah, maybe, because we made it, because we're in this fuzzy little zone. It's mind-boggling for me to conceive that we're the only special ones, I feel like there's enough space, enough planets, enough stars that just I always think about statistics and possibility. Like I got an explanation for possibility. Think about your birthday. It's not just your birthday. It's you and probably hundreds of thousands of other people on Earth. And that's just here. So it's like you share your birthday. Like my birthday is the same as Abraham Lincoln's. And it's also the same as my uncle's. So it's like we're all sharing all this. So statistically, there's no way your birthday is just your birthday. It's you and hundreds of thousands of other people. Yeah. And then I'll take that a step further in probability. The chance, I think South Park did a pretty good example of it. They were trying to do something different, and they're like, no, The Simpsons did it. So it's they hit on every possibility, and we can't do anything new because these ideas that we think are our own are already shared with at least one other show. Simpsons went so long and so hard, they've been hitting as many possibilities as they can. So when I think, when we have an idea, I sometimes go, if I had this idea, there's probably, 10,000 other people that have this idea.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when people do patents, they're like, I patented this. It's like, well, I doubt you were the first and only person to think of this, but you are the person who did the patent. You are the person that had the money to take that idea and turn it into something solid.
Yeah.
But there's no way you're the only person who thought of it. You're just the person who successfully pulled it off and maybe got the patent in.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, that's where my mind's at all the time is probability. And I think when it comes to life on other planets, there's just no way it's just us. And I'll go to movies again. I'll quote another movie. One of my all-time favorite alien, quote-unquote, alien movies is Contact. And they say, in the end of the movie, and I think somewhere halfway through, it's like there's an awful lot of space for us to be the only ones. That just sounds like a waste of space if it's just us.
Yeah, but then we talk about how we measure. Like, humans are so full of it.
Yeah.
And it's like we measure life by the way we're living, but yet somewhere on another planet there's stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Kind of bouncing back to what we're saying, we're just this other world or other being. Like,
mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just stuff we don't see because we're using the wrong telescope. You know,
yeah.
We're using the wrong fucking logic.
We're looking in the wrong direction.
Mhm. Well, so when we add up all the theories and the possibilities, they all go in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, there's almost, I don't know, like, one of the things we're saying is probably not true. And it's almost among all these other things that are true.
Mm-hmm.
And because that one thing isn't true, we assume all the other ones aren't. Well, I mean, I guess those are. I guess that's the theories.
Well, that's it's what makes them theories.
Yeah. So I mean, we're in a place where we can say what we want. Our theories are maybe sometimes get the best of us, and we forget that we don't really have truth or.
You just.
But then again, yeah. I don't know. Maybe aliens are. I'm going to that.
You just let all the hot air out of my balloon, my man.
They're going through that process,
You are the needle to my balloon. Yeah. I have a slight fear of just sharing all this, because this is where my mind's at all the time. And it's like, I feel like if people knew all this and then they're hanging out at me, like, they're like, this fucking wackadoo time-traveling probability alien believing guy kind of freaks me out. I don't want to sit next to him. But it's like, I like sharing this because it's like, this is where, if I got a little time on my hands, my mind goes to this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Or if I watch a video, I tend to, maybe it's a 15-minute video, I tend to spend at least 5 minutes contemplating my own theories. This is, it's where I'm at all the time. So it sounds like a lot. It sounds improbable. It sounds crazy. But it's where my mind's at. It's where my mind goes. This is all, in my mind, this is all a world of possibilities.
What is your thought on have you ever heard of the reptilians?
Yes.
Like, what if reptilians are aliens?
Well, that's what the theory is.
Oh. I didn't. Also, I mean, we say aliens, but it's not. Maybe it's not really aliens. It's another species. Why don't you explain
what you've heard and what you believe a reptilian is?
They're they can pass as humans,
uh-huh.
but they have like when we think of a reptile, they have some of those qualities, and I don't know if they're. I mean, I just heard. I mean, but I see this on YouTube. I mean, I saw a video of these. I mean, but then I see people that want to be reptiles and cut their tongue like a snake, and so like it's easy to find somebody that can pass as this. But the video was pretty freaky. And it was just kind of like, but it was almost like a silhouette of the guy. Like you saw, like kind of like his kind of lanky, you know. But he was wearing a suit. Yeah. And almost like a security guard type. Like a bouncer. Yeah. But I mean, that was weird when I saw that. But like a lot of that too, like you go down and speaking of, I don't know, this is something else, like black holes, like. You don't know a lot about them, but they're out there. Oh, yeah. But all I'm saying is YouTube is like that rabbit hole, that black hole. Shit, yeah. You know, you find all these videos, and people make them, and I saw a reptilian video, and I was like, wow. Oh, shit, like, this is what, I mean, there's, like, again, there's footage, and it's just like Bigfoot, like, you know, you can believe the footage, but it reminds me of this one time, or like, I was still a youngster in school, and it was Fox. It had this, like, it wasn't like a weekly show, it was almost like a special occasion to have this episode shown, but it was a house that got abducted by aliens, and they had cameras, and it was scary shit. It was like these people were like filming. It was like, I don't know if it was around Christmas time, but they were filming a party, and you know this, like, you know how they started off where they're like having a good time, and they hear something outside, and there's this by chance the guy happens to have a camera the entire time, and they find a dead cow outside. Okay. And they hear a noise and they get scared, and then they go into their house and they're hearing these sounds, and I can't remember what happens. It ends up being, you know, it ends. We don't really know what happens. It was scary shit. And then, like, I remember, like, maybe about 3 months later, I don't know if it was 3 months later, but later down the road, I found out that it was just a hoax. It wasn't real. It was just, they were just messing. I think they made up a bullshit story about the family just pretended like that was real, and then sent it to the station, or there wasn't really real footage. You know, it was them pretending, but yet I don't know. It was like suddenly the rug got pulled from me believing that was real. And that was almost like going back to like the intentions of how aliens get viewed as, like, are they real, are they not real? Because a lot of times people are dicking around saying they caught it and it's not really it, or like crop circles, or like Photoshop, man.
Photoshop and crop circles. Like, there's real ones, and then there's people that go out and do them.
And So, I mean, I don't know if that was the intention, but it got me really. Well, it got me upset because I was like, that shit wasn't real, and I believed it was real. Like, I wasted my time.
As we do all the time with childhood experiences.
Waste our time.
Yeah. We explore new ideas, and then there's a good chance sometimes it just goes away.
Yeah.
Or it gets debunked.
But I guess it only, maybe that might have turned somebody off to like, oh, they're not real.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept pushing. I kept like,
yeah,
that one wasn't real.
Or it's like, okay, the story I really believed in isn't real, so all of a sudden aliens aren't real. Now say they are, but because you got this one debunked experience, now for you aliens don't exist.
Yeah. Or that's what I'm saying. Like that, maybe that's why that was done. But then again, like, what do they call that? Propaganda.
Yeah.
What is it? Well, let me throw this one at you. Is it the aliens, or is it somebody else that doesn't want you to believe?
Well, obviously, like our government just released it, but the whole time they're like, oh, there's no such thing as aliens. And then they're like, oh, okay, there's aliens.
What about, like, you ever hear where the plane never lands, or
like the Bermuda Triangle type stuff?
Like shit, it pops out of nowhere, like a boat goes missing.
Yeah. And then it just appears later, or it just never. Yeah. So.
That shit happens though.
Yeah, all the time. So one crazy thing I started hearing let's not say lately, I want to say like 2018, 2019, was that everybody's completely aware of it, but our government takes a stance as like, knowledge is power, and they tend to try to keep us all blind, so they say, they just deny, like, oh, no, we had nothing to do with that. Oh, they don't exist. Oh, that's not true. When the whole time, CIA knows, yeah, it's true. Or the president knows, yeah, it's true. But we're going to say, because we're the U.S. and because we're trying to control information, it's not true. On that level, I've heard that the Russians have been acknowledging this entire time, openly, that there are aliens. That all the time, on the ocean, on their freighters and all that, their warships, that they see aliens come and go, and they believe there are good ones and bad ones that want to hurt us and ones that want to encourage us and support us. And I don't know if it was the U.S. or Russia. I think it might have been Russia that released a document that kind of categorized every level or type of alien there are, like the grays, the ones we almost all see, or the ones that we see in media all the time, the big heads, the little bodies, big eyes. They call them the grays, and then there's reptilians, which I don't know if you were making that connection to what you experienced about reptilians. But my understanding of the reptilians was that they're a more advanced race of alien, and they like to wear skins like us, that look like us, and they hold offices of power. They're part of the circle of power in governments. Like they say, some presidents have been, reptilians. People say, oh, well, Michael Jackson was reptilian. It's the only way he got that good. There's all this. And yeah, because it all sounds so far-fetched, there's this whole discrediting, this incredibility, this incredulity. I'm saying it wrong, but it's incredulous. There's no credit to it because it sounds so far-fetched.
Yeah.
And you know how we see there's flying discs, and then there's the flying triangle, there's the flying V, and then there's the UFO that looks like a pill, and then there's like the flying ball of light that's just a circle, like it's a sphere. According to this document, those are all different species and types of aliens that exist at the same time on planet Earth, and they're coming and going as they please. What do you think about that?
I'm not. I think that's not too far fetched. I think that might be probably true.
I've heard the Russians report that they've seen entire battles underwater in our oceans. And what's interesting is, as countries, we kind of divide up the planet, the oceans. There's what's people hear this all the time, this expression, international waters.
Oh yeah.
Those are like the unclaimed land or oceans that we all say, hey, if you find this, it's yours. If you can get it back, you find it in international waters, you take claim to it if you go somewhere else. If you take it back to your waters. So what we're seeing in our waters, we are possibly like, I think we're so nosy and spy-like that we are watching their waters too. But what I'm saying is, like, there's going to be stuff that only the U.S. sees. There's going to be stuff that only the Russians see, and so on and so forth. China, all the powers that are out there claiming land and water, they're seeing their own version of the whole truth. We all have our own piece of the pie, and we don't really talk to each other globally, really. I mean, we have allies and whatnot, but even we don't really even share with our allies. Is like there's a body, there's the whole truth, and all of us have a piece of it. Not a single one of us has the whole story. We can only theorize again. This is what they've seen. This is what we've seen. And if we just shared it, we'd have a bigger picture, but we don't. So I think there's some credibility to this paper. And I can't even think of what it was called. We'll have to do some research, and it might be worth being what our actual alien video is about, our actual alien episode. Yeah. So people, if you're listening, if you made it this far and you're still going, we're only scratching the surface of what we're actually trying to talk about. I think what we're going to do is call this the Intro to Aliens episode, because we haven't even done hardcore research. We're talking about the possibilities, the theories, what we actually think about it, and maybe the mainstream, what mainstream is portraying.
Yeah, I almost say stereotypes.
Yeah. So
alien stereotypes.
Yeah. All right, so I got another one to bring up here, and say, you can say what you will about it. All right. What about like Bigfoot? Trolls, Chupacabra, the Yeti, all these kind of fringe characters that whole societies believe in, but there's never ever any proof.
Yeah.
How would you relate that to aliens, or better yet, what do you even think about Bigfoot or the freaking... Shit, we should have a Bigfoot episode.
Well, we were remember Waylon was supposed to lead that discussion.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, maybe we'll save that one for him.
Well, no, all right, well, I did have a little...
Do it, bro.
So, I mean, it wasn't even me that, this wasn't really a fact, but it was legit, like, questions of Bigfoot, and I think one of my brother's friends back in the day, he was pretty much saying Bigfoot wasn't real because there's been no findings of his shit.
Okay.
Like,
wow, he's a shit theorist, huh? I love it. Okay, go on.
I mean, there's no, you can't, I mean, what is he, eating the shit? And,
it's like, where's the shit, man? It ain't real unless there's shit. Okay.
I mean, I don't, it's a legit question to ask. Like,
truly, yeah.
I mean, how could he hide it so well over the years that, you just can't find this shit. If he's so real, you find him roaming everywhere. Where's the shit, man?
Wow, this just took a turn. You're reminding me, there's this movie out there with Jack Black and Ben Stiller. And they're like inventors.
Envy, yeah.
Is that what it is? And he like sprays crap and it disappears and everybody's like, hey man, where's the shit? Like this full on rise, like where does the poop go? Where does it go? Tell us! You know, like that's all I can think of right there. Is like he's like, hey, there's no Bigfoot unless there's shit. Show me the shit. Where does it go? Where does it go? I love it. I love it.
He has some magical ointment that dissolves his poop.
Yeah, that's the movie. Yeah, Envy. Is that what it's called? You said Envy?
Yeah, it's called Envy, but I can't remember how that movie ended.
They just wound up like they competed, and then I think they both went bankrupt. Or maybe I'm spoiling it for people. And then there's a change after that. Well, okay, it's been out for a while. Should I just go for it?
Yeah, I mean, like,
it ends when they.
My favorite. I like Jack Black.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But I like that it came up. Where's the shit go? Where does it go?
Yeah.
There's people angry about it. Like, where's the poop go? I don't think they're saying shit. I think they're like, where does the poop go? Well, the movie ends with them creating another idea. They join forces. And they come up with a new idea, and it does way better than the poop disappearing stuff. But I love that. So this is I love that your brother's friend is a poop theorist. Like, wow, his whole reality hinges on the availability of shit samples, fecal samples. I love it. I love it.
Science.
So where's the alien shit? Does that mean aliens don't exist? They're not shitting and we're not finding like these golden nuggets of alien shit? Is that
Well, I don't.
I just saw something else. I think it was on YouTube. It might have been a scientific article. But there's something that they call alien eggs. And what it is they say it's not organic. And it's not. Well, there's two levels of things on Earth. There's like inorganic and organic, and it's neither. There's this stuff that's found all over the planet, and when I saw it, it just looked like you know when you cook an egg, or when you first slap an egg in a pan, and the egg white hits the oil or whatever you're cooking on, and like it kind of. It doesn't go full white yet, but it's like clear, but kind of cloudy.
Yeah.
That's what this alien, I think they're calling it alien eggs or something like that, but it looks like jelly mixed with yogurt, mixed with milk, mixed with water. It just looks gelatinous, and it's been tested by people all over the planet, and they cannot classify it as organic or inorganic. So it doesn't belong here. What do you think about that? I want to hear what this non-Bigfoot poop theorist guy thinks about that. Because what is that? What is that? Maybe that's Bigfoot poop. I don't know. What about that? Because all I could think of is that's a horrible theory. Because I've seen a dog eat shit. It's like, all right, this whole episode is going off the rails here, but I'm saying like there's animals out there that are eating this stuff. So I think fecal matter is a horrible way to theorize your life, and I think your brother needs to talk to he needs to hit up his boy and just set him straight.
That was a while back when he said that, but I think I believe in chupacabra. I think those are real.
Okay, and why? Tell me why. And what do you think it is?
I think it was at they got the peep shows at the carnival, like at the state fairs.
Yeah.
And you gotta pay like an extra like $2 to go see it, or have like the world's smallest horse. They'll have some strange
oddities.
Yeah, and there was chupacabra bones.
Oh God. Okay.
And, I mean,
can you describe them?
I don't know
for the listeners here.
It's kind of like a cat, almost coyote dog, mutt.
Mangy.
But it wasn't like a big ass dog. It was a medium dog cat thing in between, and it had sharp teeth, and it was just, I mean, there were bones, so they were kind of old. It was all old, and I mean, again, it was a lot of shit they can real at the carnivals. So I mean, it could have been just fabricated, but it says chupacabra bones, and yeah, I guess that sounds more realistic than a big old gorilla.
Hey,
guy.
you bite your tongue, mister. Okay, all right.
But hey, there's this story on 86. Somebody saw a dog with wings.
What?
By the Keep Peak area.
A
dog with wings. Maybe aliens are dog with wings. But that.
Whoa.
I don't know if they're tied. I don't know if there's similarity or where they're at, but they've seen that shit.
Where did this story, how did you hear about this story?
I know it was my aunt.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you a kid?
I was pretty young when they told me, but people still mention it.
Wow.
Dog with wings.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it. Maybe if there was some fecal matter somewhere around, I'd be a little more inclined into buying into this thing.
Well, what about gargoyles?
All right. What about them?
Do you believe in them, or do you think
they're on every library I've ever seen? Of course they're real.
What are they then?
Baby jacket. I don't know. They're decorations on some architecture.
I think there's more to them.
All right, so just to go back real quick before we go down this rabbit hole, I wanted to comment on the chupacabra. One thing, there's this cartoon I like watching. It's kind of on the fringe. I rarely find people that know about it, and even rarer that I find people that like it. I think Dally Dow likes it, but it's the Venture Brothers. And there's this one scene where these two characters are about to get in this car, and the one guy gets in, he starts up the car, and the second guy goes to get in, and this thing goes and jumps out of the car with red eyes, and it's little tiny and green with big claws, and it's scratching his face, and he's like, what the fuck? And it's scratching him all up, and then takes off. He's like, what the hell was that? And the other character is like, damn, chupacabras, man. They're everywhere down south. Because I guess he had just come back from Mexico or South America, and he accidentally had one in his car, and it jumped out and scratched up the other guy. He's like, what? He's like, what the hell was that? He's like, chupacabras. They're everywhere down south. Those things are everywhere. I loved it. I wanted to bring up the thing. You know, when you're driving down the highway and you see all of the signs that says the thing, and it's everywhere. You go all the way down the highway, and as you approach it, I usually see it on I-10 going east to New Mexico, and they're advertising it like crazy. The thing. I'm pretty sure I saw it once, but that's all you made me think about when you were mentioning going to a carnival or a circus with this chupacabra bones. I've seen video of this thing, and it was people were like, oh, that's the chupacabra. It looked like this mangy, mid-sized dog that had this really weird face. like it could have just been a sickly dog.
Yeah.
But it was like, it had all these weird features on its ear. It's like, the video starts, these guys are driving down the highway, or like a back road, I think it's like a deserted highway, or down a back road in the desert, but they're going, and then they catch up to this animal that's kind of running along the road, and they come up from behind it, and it just kind of looks back a little, and it looks like that, like it looks hairy, but kind of mangy. Like, you know when a dog gets mange and its fur kind of starts disappearing and it's all scratched up? It looked like that, but it was dark and its face looked like kind of hooked and weird, and it looked disproportionate in weird ways, and I didn't see any red eyes, but they're like, oh, that's the chupacabra. I don't know, bro. I don't know. All right. So then you were talking about gargoyles.
Mm-hmm.
I think to summarize and go back about these fringe animals and characters that everybody sees and talks about. I feel like. All right. So I heard a theory about Bigfoot. I want to go back to Bigfoot a little bit. So somebody was saying that all these people and things that people are seeing, they talk about this way back when time. You know how we say the Neanderthals disappeared? Or they got destroyed by Homo sapiens? So like the next level of evolution appeared, which was the Homo sapien, and through combat and a species that was more prepared to survive outdid them, was more capable, so that little by little, the Neanderthals started getting wiped out because they couldn't compete with our species, the Homo sapien. And I do believe, like seriously believe, that some people are more Neanderthal than they are Homo sapien, but they're still here because, of course, as humans go, we bone everybody. You know, everybody gets boned, and you know the blood and DNA gets mixed up. So I kind of feel like sometimes you see a guy or a lady and they just kind of look a little off, that they're maybe a little more Neanderthal than Homo sapien. So anyway, along that theory and ideology, this theory I heard was that goblins and Bigfoot and all, like, the little people, all these... Oh, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. But these fringe characters that people are describing that they see in the woods, the theory was that there was some point in time where, like, almost like a fork in the road, humans they had a choice to make. They either stay in the woods or they join society. So they either hang back and stick to the animal life, or they move on and join groups and create a society, and they evolve further like we have. So we're a part of society, whatever. We're in the U.S., we're wearing clothes, we're living in houses, we got the AC going, the heater, whatever. And then the theory was that all these other fringe characters are the species, or even the humans, that hung back. They didn't come out of the forest. They didn't leave these dark, deep, weird places. They decided to hang back, and in turn, they grew more feral. They grew more dark. They grew more animalistic. And that was the theory that said, oh, this is what led to Bigfoot and goblins and leprechauns and all that. What do you think about that?
Not to take it off the subject of the...
Dude, we're way off it.
They did a genealogy... they do that when they kind of read your genes, I guess. Yeah. With Ozzy, and he had a lot of the Neanderthal...
Oh, I love it. Of course he did.
In his genes, like, that was a big part. I mean, when you're saying, like some people have more of that than others. You know, he had the Neanderthal. A lot of the. I mean, like, I really don't know what all that is, but
of course he did.
Yeah, so that's what I thought of when you were talking to that. But I kind of agree. You know,
okay.
I kind of think there are these things that are creatures, or not creatures, but maybe, what do you call those? Off-breeds, or
unique. You know, let's just say unique. They're a species that's not, well, it's not dominant. So, like, you know, Homo sapien has taken over and evolved and become what we are today.
Well, different.
But they're a different breed or species that took on its own evolution. They branched off, is kind of what the way they say it. It's branched off from the big survivor. So there's like one species that kept evolving the fastest, the best, and more adaptive, and then there's branch off species that, you know, maybe they're in danger now, they don't do as well, they don't survive as well, but they still exist.
Yeah.
Alright, so where were you going with that?
Just how, you know, depending on our DNA, you know, we're kind of, we might have these like traits or qualities. So you just, like, when you're talking about Bigfoot, like, I just imagine this big tall dude that you know, maybe he was homeless or something, and he just kind of got, you know. Well, so that's another thing is, like, when someone's different or someone's not following the code or the unwritten rule, they're sort of doing their own thing. We do tend to ostracize, and maybe there's just somebody that everybody kind of fucked with, and he really just kind of just wandered around, and everybody just started assuming Bigfoot. I mean, I don't know enough about the origin of what we call Bigfoot, because wasn't that another thing too, where it was like, was there just one Bigfoot, or was he just bobbing around all over?
The same one, just bobbing.
I mean, so there's a lot of Bigfoot info I don't know. Yeah. But, you know, just kind of what you said, I was like, yeah, maybe it was just somebody that, you know, that didn't fit the code, and now they're
ostracized.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what it is, you know. But I think that's just maybe how humans are, where we have to know you're like us, because if you're not, then we're going to poke like you, figure you out.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with coming out as different. There's going to be the poking and prodding. Same with aliens. If we ever capture an alien, we're gonna chop it up and examine it, if we haven't already.
Yeah.
So to try to bring us back here to aliens, I want to say this is all about the fringe, the unexplainable. And a lot of times, like on alien, ancient aliens, ancient astronaut theorists, all that. Sometimes I have to stop watching, because it's like they'll put everything on ancient aliens, which I could do for a long, 4 or 5 episodes, and I'm on it. I'm like, yeah, but a lot of it ends up being theory. And sometimes it's like, okay, we can't explain this, so it must be aliens. you know?
Yeah.
So I think what we're talking about, kind of like that mystery you were saying, you know, they don't believe in it, or even the whole thing about the devil and, you know, making people believe he doesn't exist. I think that's where the possibility of aliens lies, and I kind of feel like even though we claim to know so much, there's still a lot we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why there is this fascination with aliens and ghosts and interdimensionality and like the black Bigfoot and Chupacabra and the black beings, the shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to go into that too, but I'm saying like there's plenty we can't explain. I mean, even with like a poltergeist, and I do believe it's real. You know, I'm sure plenty of people, just like we were saying, like with the crop circles, or you know, there's somebody out there that did a hoax. There's plenty of that. There are people that pull strings and move doors and get them to slam, and they're just filming it and claiming, oh, this is what it is. But I do believe that there's some that are real. You know, even a society like, let's say, the Catholic Church, what do they call it, the Vatican?
Mm-hmm.
Even they still have a sector for the unknown and possessions and demons. And, you know, if that's all fake, if aliens are all fake, then how do you explain that? People who try to be as conservative as that, they still have a place for it. There's still the possibility of demons. So I think, like, you know, poltergeists, there are some that are real. And how do you explain that? There's an unexplainable, and I think that's why we have a fascination for all this. Why I'm so fascinated and drawn to it. It's like, I can't explain that. There's plenty that I feel I can, but when I come across something that I cannot explain, and much like Ancient Aliens, the show, they have to start kind of stretching their imagination and weirding out a little bit and going, what about this? What about this superior race of human or alien beings, these interdimensional beings that come from other parts of the galaxy? Maybe they seeded Earth. There's an unexplainable presence, and there's things going on around us. And like we've said before, like, oh, I don't have time for this crap. That's what keeps it on the fringe. That's what keeps it out of reality. That's what makes it unacceptable for some and totally true for others. It's like there's an unexplainability, and there's possibility and impossible, but stuff still exists whether you acknowledge it or not. And like that, and that's why I guess I still feel somewhat comfortable talking about my theories, is because, you know, I dare somebody to prove me wrong, or to prove these ancient astronaut theorists wrong. There's a fringe possibility out there of stuff to exist, whether you believe it or not. You know, there's things that exist that you can't even see or touch, but it's still there. It still exists. It's still a thing, and that's because, you know, there's something out there. There's some explanation. There's some thing that we can't explain. And whether you believe it or not, it's still there. So, I mean, that I think that's what I love about, you know, talking about time travel and space and science. And maybe why I like science so much, because it explains a lot. But even with science, there's a lot that's unexplainable, and that's why I'm so drawn to all this other extra stuff. Is that it's like, how do you explain that? It kind of, you know, when I see something that looks truly real, and all the, like, I watch a lot of ghost videos and all that. Not all of them, but some of them make the hair on my freaking arms stand up. The hairs on my neck stand up, and it's like, how do you explain that? Like the shadow people. The shadow people freak me the hell out. But, it's common across the planet. There's plenty of videos on all these channels I watch. Like there's Dark Knight Horror Project. If people want to look that up, the Dark Knight, kind of like Batman, the Dark Knight is Dark Knight Horror Project. The Impossible Channel. And there's this new guy I've been watching called Slap Tam, which I don't even understand the name of his show, but he covers the fringe. And, man, when I watch it, it's my interest in the unexplainable that keeps bringing me back.
Wow.
And I think that's what the beauty of aliens and why the culture of believing in aliens is so rampant, and probably even more now, because we are still seeing, and it's being the internet's being flooded with it. Maybe mainstream media doesn't cover it, but we all know about them. It's like they're a form of control that paints a picture. We talked about it in gun violence. There wasn't a lot of coverage of gun violence until there was gun violence legislation in the legislature. So it's like we're being flooded. Like I said, the media of internet and whatnot's being flooded with all this imagery of the unknown and aliens, especially aliens. And there's plenty that I see that I just can't explain or hear. You hear it, you see it, like, what the hell is that? What is that?
Yeah.
So I recommend, if people kind of want to get on the freaky plane that I'm on, check out these channels on YouTube. I might do a link in the description or something, but it's like, I love it, and I'll never stop talking about it. And I do believe in aliens and ancient aliens. I believe there's a lot that we cannot explain. It's because we can't go there and explain it away. You can't see what people saw back then, and they wrote about it. It's like the Bible. These lights, these beings that came out of the sky, and they're surrounded by light, and they have wings, or there's all these descriptions, or maybe they, like an angel, maybe it's not, maybe their characteristic of adding wings to their paintings and their descriptions is because they couldn't figure out why a person would float and fly. So there's this, like, I'm not trying to piss on anybody's parade. I'm not trying to, like, go, oh, you're wrong and I'm right. It's not about that. It's about, allowing for the possibility of impossibility and, exploring your imagination of how you explain these things. I mean, if you really get down in the Bible too, it's like, how do you explain? You don't just accept it. You gotta go, well, how is that? What are they describing here to me? What kind of event are they really truly describing? And when you really start going down that path open-mindedly and seriously, the possibilities are endless. And I think that's the beauty of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, and then you gotta also imagine, and we talk about it all the time, where in our history books, and even when we talk about it in education with school, like the textbooks don't tell you everything.
Yeah.
And somewhere between, I don't know how far I want to go back with this, but like passing on history and passing on stuff, like we've lost the, what is that? We've almost lost that connection and the dialogue of how we came to be.
Yeah.
And there's, I don't know, it's just kind of going back into all these, like, these maybe other beings that are now these, like, weird, I don't want to call them weird creatures, but just unique beings that are, I don't know, sort of just this loss of like explaining what they really are, and they become kind of be given these new roles and new I don't know, almost like feared, you know, like be fearful of the chupacabra, you know, it's, you know. Well, with Bigfoot, it was almost like it wasn't. He never. I don't know. I never heard anything of Bigfoot attacking anybody, but it was kind of. I never got the sense of like he was a friendly guy, you know. But like that was a lot of that. Again, the media, but then also sort of again what was passed on.
Yeah.
You know, information-wise.
Yeah.
But, I think a lot of that is capitalism, to what you always say. Like, you know, controlling the narrative of how the Earth came to be. You know, we ain't trying to give no aliens that credit. You know, we want to put it all on us.
Yeah, there's an advantage and a profitability to control it. To control what people believe and think. As long as that exists, there's going to be people out there trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Darn it, I wanted to talk about the octopus and dolphins. And it kind of goes along the lines of the DNA. But I think I'm going to have to leave it for later. All I'll bring up is that the dolphin uses more of their brain than we do.
Okay.
And the octopus,
I believe that,
is highly intelligent, but doesn't look like anything else on the planet. You know, it's highly capable, highly intelligent. It has the ability to change its skin color like a chameleon, but not. Because it can create patterns, it can solve problems. It's a damn unexplainable kind of thing out there in the world. And there was even this theory that people, like, it's illegal to interact with dolphins. If you see them in the wild, it's illegal for you to go play with them or whatever. That you're not supposed to be able to deal with them, play with them. And there's theories out there saying, because you might learn something that is beyond what we're able to conceive.
Oh, that's crazy.
There used to be something about people giving birth in the ocean. This is something I've just barely learned about, like this past year, was there's people who used to have births with dolphins. And the dolphins, with their higher brain ability, would be swimming around, like they would know the baby's coming, and they'd like start swimming circles around a person. And there was the theory that through telepathy or some kind of brain power that they have that we don't have and can't even conceive, they improve the person through their birth by their interaction with a human during their birth process.
Ooh.
So it affects the baby for the rest of their life and makes them either highly intelligent or something else. Like, I can't even begin to start getting into that. But it was interesting, and I found it interesting. There was one last part that I wanted to say, and it was based off of what you were saying, but I can't think of it right now. I kind of blew it. I wish I didn't go that way, because now I can't even think of what it was. But, yeah, if somebody's out there and they're going, oh, these guys are nuts, or, oh, I absolutely don't believe, like, explain stuff away. Go look at these videos, these channels I mentioned, the Impossible channel. That one especially, because he covers a very wide range of subjects, and all it is short videos of stuff that people can't explain. And he just dares you the whole time, like, how do you explain this? Or check this out. And it's all about just mind-blowing videos and interactions and experiences. And people all over the world just send him videos, and he kind of puts them in groups and then releases it. Like, he scours the internet and tries to find stuff. Same with the Dark Knight Project, and they're just, they're just trying to show you something and say, I dare you to explain this away. Or what do you think about this? And that's the whole thing about aliens. Is like, how do you explain this? And no, aliens aren't the answer to everything. But it's why I'm interested. It's why I believe. It's like there's so much more that we can't explain. Like, there's still stuff we can't do, but maybe even ancient people before us were capable of doing it. So it's like, how do you explain that? We're supposed to be so advanced, maybe the most advanced people to live on Earth yet, so far. But then how do you explain how ancient people did stuff we can barely do? So there's a fringe out there. There's more out there. And all I ask for our listeners is to keep an open mind and think about it. Go out and explore the internet yourself and see what you find. Take the rabbit hole. Take some time every now and then off of your regular life. Like we were saying, you don't have time I don't have time to conceive about aliens because I got to get to work or I got to get to bed. Take a break from that, the routine, and go exploring. And I think, again, that's the point of this podcast is I want to get you guys thinking about, get your brains going. Start asking questions and think about what we're talking about. Think about how you feel about it. And then maybe come on the show and rebuke us. I'm all for that.
Debunk
us. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I lost what I was going to say.
Oh.
I think, you lost me in that. Well, with the dolphin thing, like, wouldn't we all want to get smarter?
Yeah.
If we could just, like, I don't know, swim with dolphins or play with them or... Yeah.
So there's caged animals that when they go, you're going to swim with dolphins, it's usually caged dolphins.
Yeah.
Contained, raised by humans kind of dolphins. And then there's wild dolphins. And supposedly any human interaction with them, besides accidental, is illegal.
But how do you control that? Like, what if a dolphin?
If you get on a boat, go find dolphins, jump off, and start fucking with them, you're being illegal. You're doing illegal stuff.
Yeah, but what if you're just chilling in the ocean and then they roll up on you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's pure tense. So if you accidentally interact with a dolphin, boom, like you had no choice, you didn't go seek them. But what they're saying is if you go out, or I'm theorizing here really, if you purposefully go out and interact with dolphins, beyond taking pictures from afar, you're engaging in illegal activity, which I think is strange.
Huh. Well,
and there's plenty of cases where somebody's about to die or they're about to be attacked by a shark and a dolphin rolls up and saves them.
Yeah. But what? I don't know. It's like if we know they're so intelligent, but we're afraid of what they can teach us. What are the good things that we can learn from them? Yeah.
It's a trip to think about. That's a simple, like, people, wrap your mind around that. That's a simple, like, I'd love to go swim with dolphins thing. You would pay money to do that, or you'd go a long distance to do that. but there's still this fringe thing about them that a government wouldn't want you to do. Now, some people would say, "Oh, well, they're an animal that we don't want to harm, or maybe they're endangered and we don't want to affect their world." But why would interacting with a wild animal, like, is it really just like, hey, don't mess with a bear when their cubs are around? Don't go feeding the animals. I think it's more than that. Actually, that's actually another subject I think we should bring up later in the future. Is how do we really measure intelligence?
Yeah.
Like interactions with dogs, horses, cats. The animal kingdom, we go around shoving people around going, oh, we got a big brain, we got thumbs, we're the shit. But we're not the only animals on the planet.
No.
And who's to say just because they can't speak to us or write a book that they don't have intelligence or they're not as intelligent?
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess, how do you measure?
Well, that's for another episode, my man.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any last words? Huh?
You just got me thinking about swimming with the dolphins now.
Good.
The wild dolphins.
Then my job is done, sir. I planted a seed of curiosity.
I don't know, man. I just remember watching Flipper early in the morning, and it just looked like a fun.
and you want a Flipper of your own now, don't you?
If it's gonna make me all like intelligent, I mean, I'm like, so. Again, it's like the trying to put a restraint on what another being can teach you.
Yeah. Well, supposedly this whole dolphin birthing thing used to be a thing. Like, it used to be a big thing, and it's now illegal.
I wonder
what happened. Not allowed.
Well, I wonder if there was something they were saying.
I don't know.
With the kids that got part of that.
We may have. You're asking so many questions now. We may have to have a dolphin episode, but I think this episode is done, my man. Like I want to get. We talked about this earlier. I cut it off, but you're opening up a rabbit hole that I don't think we can. I don't think we can go there right now.
Yeah. No. That's another day. Another episode.
I mean, I've been trying to keep these episodes at 2 hours, but if you wanna open that can of worms, I'm down.
I think we can put a pin on it.
Okay.
Because let's not disrespect our alien friends and let the dolphins steal the show. Like,
hey, the dolphins may be aliens. Let's
see. Maybe, man. I don't know. But are dolphins what family are they a part of? I mean, are they...
Oh, they're mammals. They're mammals. Just like
mammals.
Yeah. They get... I think a big part of classifying mammals is they give birth to a full-grown baby.
Not an egg, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So, are we assuming that aliens are the same way?
I don't know, brother. I don't know.
But yeah, closing, man. We can do this all day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're on the edge of a whole other rabbit hole. That my back hurts. I'm leaning over here talking into a mic. I'm ready to call this.
Close it.
All right, I'm going to hit the button. Everybody, thank you for listening.
Shut her down.
Shut her down. Comment, subscribe, or don't. If you have suggestions, comment on the video. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you want to hear about. This is season 3, people, and I think we've already kicked it off in a great way. So I can't wait for CJ and Sissy and Mr. Hardy to join us in the next couple of episodes. I hope you guys can too. So, stay tuned. This is a new year. Go for it, Sky.
Go outside.
Go outside.
See what's out there.
The truth is out there.
For yourself.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't believe everything you see on YouTube.
Oh, except this podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is the Natives in America podcast on the Reservation Radio Network. Peace.